Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video I am making a faux stained glass art of the Blue Knight from Castle Crashers. So what is faux stained glass art? Well, I use my 3D pen to create a stained glass look for these, they're like sun catchers, like stained glass art. So I've done a couple on some recent live streams. I started off with this cat. And I found this template on Google, on the internet. And the second one I did was this sunset. And I had some extra colors left over. I didn't have the proper colors. So I just did some different colors down below for the sunset, for the land area. But I really wanted to create my own template. And is it template pattern? And I thought it'd be fun to start with Castle Crashers. I am a huge fan of the Castle Crashers video game. I've had it since it originally came out on the Xbox 360, and I recently bought the remastered version on the Switch. And my daughter's a big fan of it, so she's kind of got me back into it. And I'm going to be making some more Castle Crashers stuff on my channel, so if you like the game, definitely, stick around and you can look forward to those videos. But in this video, I'm going to make that artwork of the Blue Knight. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to show you how I drew the digital artwork for the pattern. And then I'll show you the process it took to create the actual piece. All right, let's get started. Now to do the artwork for this, I'm using Sketchbook on my iPad and I'm using my Apple Pencil to draw it. Sketchbook's just like a lot of other drawing tools, has a lot of different options for like straight lines and shapes, and that worked really well for doing this. So once I had this done, I printed it out, taped it down to my art table, taped a piece of wax paper over it. Now I'm just loading my 3D pen with some black filament and going through and drawing over all the lines. So it's a pretty simple process. You'll see those lines get kind of rough, but instead of trying to stress over that, I just kind of embrace it and I continue to kind of go over them and build them up, and so they all have a very similar look. Now if I do have some lines that are way out of place, I do go ahead and take, you can see I've got a little wooden tool there that I kind of straighten them out and adjust them if I need to. I can also kind of press them in with my fingernail. The stuff is very hot, but I've gotten really used to working with it. I don't have any issues. I've never really burned myself with it. But I just go over all the lines, trim off. When you pull away, it'll leave these little strings, these little threads, like almost like, annoying like pet hair, as far as like they just get everywhere. So I just trim those off, and you can see here I'm kind of making it a little more bold, going over everything, trimming off. Just keep going over the entire piece until I am happy with it. One major difference between doing this in an edited video format instead of doing a live stream like my last two is I felt like I could slow down a bit, take my time, change a lot more things that I didn't think looked quite right. And where with the live stream, if I make little mistakes, I just kind of move on. Major mistakes I try to correct as fast as possible, but the little ones I kind of just leave, and this way it gave me a little more time to work with this piece and get it how I wanted. Now, one thing I wanted to make sure to do is add a little place to hang it, so I used my ruler to measure about halfway and just added a little black loop on the top there, so it would just kind of blend in with the piece, not look out of place. And I'll go through and finish it up. Trim off any little excess pieces. The main reason I want to get those trimmed now is because I don't want them to lay in those sections and have the other colors cover them up, and you can kind of see that since this is all the filament I'm going to use after this is translucent, so you would be able to see little pieces of the black filament in there. So now I'm just taking my lighter and heating up a few spots so I can smooth it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and load up my blue, and you'll see here there's still a lot of black in there, and I think because it's hot in there, I think it transfers a lot of that color to the inside even though the filament's not in there. So once I was happy with my blue, I went ahead and started filling in the knight's helmet. So I'm going to use a darker blue on the top and the lower sections, and then I'll go ahead and add some to his arms. I did have a spot here that had some black in there, so I heated that up and cut that out, and then added some more filament in there to fill it in. Now the knights in the game have actually, I think, like a gray, which was supposed to be like a silver for their shoulders, and the lower part, like their sleeve part, is black, but I didn't want that much opaque filament on here, so I just went with doing the blues on there. And I thought it kind of, made it look like his armor, since his helmet was blue, and it would look like it all belonged together. So now I'm just going to trim that up, switch to my lighter blue, and I wasn't worried about getting this as cleaned out, so you can see there's kind of a blend there, but I like that. I like the way that some of those, will kind of blend then. So I'm going to get the few spots filled in with that, trim this up. I'm going to use my lighter again. That really helps if there's any parts that are pokey, so I can heat them up and push them down. And you see on my finger there on my left hand, I do have a little silicone like thimble I can use to press this down. This is something I got in my filament kit, so I have not used it on a live stream, but I did try it on this piece, and it actually works really well to smooth that in without lessening your chance of burning your finger. So now I'm just using clear where the white is on the knight, so I thought this would work really well. Just getting it filled in. I usually try to cover the whole thing, and then I go back over it and then even it out with that thimble. Now I'm just going to fill in the panes going the little sections around the knight. So I just kind of alternate. So I'm going to use two different colors in the background. So now that these are done, I'm going to go ahead and switch colors and do the alternating sections. So I thought this would look really good, and I always consult with my wife on my colors. I am hue deficient. I don't always have the best judgment when it comes to colors, so she helps me out a lot. So she helped me pick out the colors for this guy. So now that I've got that all filled in, I'm going to go ahead and just touch it up. The reason why I pulled it off the wax paper, because it's easier to see if there's gaps where the color and the black lines meet. Now the last thing I need to do is do his shield. I didn't do that before because I used up all my filament, but I had a replacement one available. So I'm filling that in and going back over the helmet, trying to fill in any big gaps I see so the piece has a nice finished look to it when it's done. All right, I'm just going to trim up and he will be ready to look at the final piece. And here is my finished Faux Stained Glass Art Blue Knight from Castle Crashers. Move this around so you can get a better look at it. See on the back, just has a reverse of that image. It is smoother on the back because it was on that wax paper. So really when you make something like this, you can display it on either side. But I do like the way that 3D pen, when you kind of filled in these individual sections, how it has kind of a crystally look to it, especially on this rougher side. And I will bring in a little tea light here so you can see, the translucency of it. So this piece should look pretty good hanging in a window. I had a lot of fun making it. I was really happy to be able to do my own artwork with it, even though it is based on their artwork. I did, look at some reference material, and it's pretty close to one of those. I'm not claiming this as 100% my own, but it was something where I could create something that I wanted specifically instead of just picking what was found on Google. So if you have ideas for something you'd like to see in this faux stained glass art style, please leave it in the comments down below. I do read all those. I try to respond to everything, and I definitely look for ideas for new videos in my comment section. So if you like this video, please give it a like down below. Also, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps the channel grow. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and remember, never stop creating. Bye!